What's up, family? It's your uncle, brother, cousin, friend John back here. So before I get into the video, make sure that you like the video. Make sure that you comment down below. You could ask a question. You could say, hey, this is what you want to see with the Prince Richmond channel, and I'll probably try to make that a video for you. Make sure that you also subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell down below so that way you are aware of when I upload a new video to YouTube. I was about to say Instagram, but also follow our Instagram page at theprincerichmond.com, and that's MAN, not MOND, and I'll try to put those links somewhere down below. But more importantly, go to princerichmond.com and get yourself some Prince Richmond merch. So before we get into the video, if you're like, didn't you record this video before? No, I didn't. No, I did not. This is your first time seeing this video. You're not seeing this video again. So I kind of went back and I watched the video of how I felt at being a business owner. Or I felt at being a business owner, and I was like, man, that is a really long video, and I didn't realize that. So we're just going to do it again and just shorten it to make it quick and simple because I want you all to understand the story. So I want to say I know a lot of people had questions like, did he fail at being a business owner? Because I just like straight up disappeared. I know I came out the gate hot and heavy and I was like, I'm going to do this. And I was putting stuff out there and then I just kind of disappeared. And I know a lot of people had assumptions like this guy must have failed or, he wasn't doing good, blah, 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 blah. I know because I heard some of the rumors myself. I heard some of the things and I was like, nah, it just was a lot going on when I started my clothing brand. And I know they say business isn't easy, but it's really more so not that business is complicated. It's very tedious, but I think the mindset behind business isn't easy. It really comes from the aspect of like looking at the support you have with it and looking at where you could take it if you had certain resources and things. And it does weigh on your mind a little bit when you have a business. And again, I said I wanted to be 100% open and honest with you all about like what it's like to run a business in general, because, if you plan on doing it, if you're thinking about doing it, I want you to have realistic expectations. So let's kind of run a background as to like what happened to me, that like I just kind of disappeared. So in about 2023, I decided to launch my clothing brand. I was freshly graduated with my master's degree, and I was like, I'm gonna launch my clothing brand. It was something I always wanted to do as a kid, and I remember I just got the motivation to do it one day, and I went from an LLC. At first I did all the costs and stuff like that. And I said, well, I have it saved up. So I started going for it. I did my research. I looked into good, shirts to buy, that was durable, that lasted a long time. And I started getting really excited about it. And at the time I was also working a job, and I remember when I started that job, I loved it. It was great. And then management switched. And I was like, okay, nothing's really changing. Everything's still the same. And I remember the new manager came in, and it just was like work got a lot more complicated for me. And it was like, I just felt like I was trying my best. And then it was just like, I'm still not good enough. And I was like, feeling a little demotivated at work, but I was excited about what I was doing with my business, and it helped me and it motivated me to keep pushing. And I remember it was like work, it was just complicated for no reason. I wasn't even doing anything, showing up to work, doing what I had to do, but it just felt like, how you feel like somebody got it out for you. I kind of felt like my manager had it out for me a little bit, and I, maybe they didn't, but it felt like it. It was just like, simple task. It was like, okay, the task is done. It was like, well, it's done and it's done good, but I want it this way. It was little things like that. And I was like, what is going on? And I remember one day I kind of like, I didn't know I was having one until like later on. I talked to my mom about it because I had to explain to her. I don't know what's going on. I basically had a panic attack at work. It felt like the walls were closing in on me, and I walked out the building. I got in my car, and I'm just like, Most High God, please give me direction. Please give me order, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. I said, I'm excited about this thing, but this is over here stressing me out. Like, for no reason. It was just like no reason. I really enjoyed the job before we had the switch in management. And I remember I talked to my mom, and she was like, just push through the rest of the day, keep focusing on your business, because she knew I was doing it or I was working on it. And she was like, keep focusing on your business, but, still show up for work, because that's what's paying the bills. So I was showing up. I kept trying to push. And I remember one day on my way to work, I was praying, and I was like, Most High, I was like, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm backed into a corner. And I remember got to work. I was working. Everything was going on perfectly fine. I went to lunch and I came back, and the manager called me in the office, and she was like, we're going to have to let you go. Now, y'all, around this time, I had just used all my savings to basically launch my business, and thinking that, I still got a job, so I'm going to, have this money still coming in from over here while I'm focusing on getting this launched. And I just was like, okay. And I did what I needed to do. I left, and I felt like this weight was lifted off of me. It was like there was birds flying around, butterflies. The sky it had rained all week. That day was nice and sunny. And I was like, okay. I said, well, I guess it's not bad. And I said, well, until I can find something else, I'm going to have to really push my business while I have this time away. And I remember I basically freaked out a little bit, and I just was trying to push stuff out. I was trying to figure out marketing and advertising, because again, I do everything on my own. I was trying to figure all of this stuff out, how algorithms work, how social media works, and it just was a lot. But I was doing something, and I was excited about it. And I finally started advertising it on social media, and I had a few friends, repost just the logo, and they were excited for me, and I really appreciated my friends for that. And then we move forward. Remind you, I'm kind of hoping that this business will launch, but also I'm applying for jobs and, stuff like that. So I still have an income. Plus, I had a master's degree in what I do, and I really loved that. I was excited about it. And I remember it just felt like a tower moment happened all of a sudden, and I started thinking about the job, because then a couple of months, so then I launched, and I remember the people that was like, I'm gonna be there for you, I'm gonna support you, I'm stand up for you, they just were not there at all. Like, they didn't show up. And what was even crazier is like some of the people that directly reached out to me was like, oh my gosh, your products look cool, I really want to buy them, when I get this money, I'm gonna go ahead and support you. And they wouldn't. And then I would see them posting on their story and stuff, it was buying the Gucci and the Louis and all this extra things. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you didn't have the money for my stuff. Or, I even heard, your stuff's too expensive. And I'm like, but you're showing you shopping at this store and you're buying those things. And so, it just kind of, it was like, okay, well, the support wasn't there like I thought it was. And then I remember I'm still applying for jobs, y'all. And this was around the time, this was after COVID. So this is when jobs was getting hard to find, and it was moving really slow with the hiring process. And this is now going from weeks into months. And it's I do one interview, and then maybe a month later I would hear back. And this is multiple different jobs that I was interviewing. It's just they were taking forever. And so I'm like, okay, well, how'd I kick up sales? And I'm still trying to post videos. I'm still trying to do. And that's actually what inspired me to start the Royal Lessons. And I was like, I want people to understand what being royal means. So I started the Royal Lessons, which is now my other YouTube channel, because I was like, I want to separate business from what I'm teaching over there. And I'm figuring that out and figuring this business out, y'all. I had no mentor, no anything, and I'm just trying. I'm like, something has got to give, something's got to work out. And as months go by, of course, money starts running out. And I remember having a conversation with my mom, and she's like, well, until you can find something that really fits with what you want to do, I think maybe you should just come back home for a little bit until you hear back from one of the jobs, save you money, because it was time for me to renew my lease. And it was like, instead of renewing your lease, just come here, you get a little temporary job and then figure it out. And that's what I ended up doing. Now, y'all, around this time, I also had like a group of friends in the city that I was living in, and I just remember noticing how like they'd be like, oh yeah, I got this opportunity for you, and just wouldn't really hear back from them, or nothing was said further, or it was just like, oh yeah, we checking up. I remember also getting random phone calls from other people, and they were like, oh yeah, so and so was telling me you didn't have no money, and I'm like, well, why is my business being spread? And so it's like, I had to leave where I was at, the job's now gone. I'm finding out that people are talking about my situation to other people that I hadn't even told. Like, it was like a few people I told, and I'm like, now it's just groups of people now hearing all of this stuff. And I felt like, I was like, I didn't really know what to do, but I was like still trying to move forward, still trying to have faith, still trying to like believe that this is what the Most High God wanted me to learn and wanted me to see and wanted me to go through and understand, kind of like see the things around me, the people that were around me, and like what was really going on. So I also remember around this time within, my friends, I had to go do something for another friend. And I remember I drove like 2 hours away to a whole different city to go do something for them. And I remember they got there before I did, but they did what they needed to do. They left, and they were with a group of our friends. And I got there probably like an hour or two after they left. And actually, it was like 30 minutes to an hour after they left, because the people told me. And I go in the store, I say my name, and some guy randomly comes over to me, and he was like, you're John, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, do you know so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, dog, I'm just going to tell you straight up. He said, I don't even think you should do what you're about to do for them. I think you should grab your stuff and leave. And I said, why? And he was like, I don't really want to tell you, but I have to tell you. He was like, those are not your friends. They were talking a lot of crap about you. They were talking badly behind your back. And, it was like, you gotta go. You gotta leave them alone. And I was like, what? And I was like, none of them was standing up for me. And it was like, nah. And I was like, this person? And it was like, nah. And I was like, well, what did they say? Because now I'm like, I need to verify. And I remember the guy said to me, he was like, dog, he was like, they said, he's like, I don't want to tell you, but they said this, that. And there were things that I was like, had they have just talked to me, it could have been cleared up or communicated, but it was like they seen something or they knew about something, and then they were making up these scenarios, and these scenarios became realistic stories that they were now telling, not just within themselves, but they were telling other people who knew me or people that had yet met me. And I just was like, what? And of course, it's like one random guy. And I remember there happened to be another customer in the store that stayed, and he was like, yeah, I heard you were coming. And cause I called right before I got there to make sure they were still open. And the customer was like, I heard you. And he was like, I just want to back it up and let you know, blah, 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 blah. He was like, and I'm confirming what he said. And so I'm like, man, like, not only am I losing my job, I was losing my friends, I was losing my home, and I felt like I was having a Tower moment or a Job moment. And I said, Most High, I still have a lot of faith in you. I still have a lot of love for you. And I just want to trust that what you're doing is for a reason. And it was just really hard to like be a person who's encouraging other people about knowing that they're divine royalty and knowing that the Most High has their back, knowing that they're greater, when the whole time I'm encouraging others, the people that were closest to me were talking so badly about me. And on top of that, I had other family and friends talking about me, about my business, and they were talking badly because, for instance, I can speak for a clothing brand. When you have a clothing brand, you learn that you have to order minimum quantity when you're doing stuff like this. When you have to order in bulk, but there's only there's a number you have to start at. So it could be 15 pieces, 20 pieces. And again, I financed all of this out of my own pocket, out of my own savings. And so I didn't have that much, but I was motivated and I believed in what I was doing, because I said, Most High, this is like something you gave me, and this is something that I really want to do. And so I was only able to afford like 2 colors, and I wanted to do hats too. And so I was only able to afford 2 colors in shirts and hats. And I remember hearing other people tell other people, and then other people were telling me to my face, and I had people telling me to my face as well, that like, I'm not gonna support your clothing brand because you only got 2 colors. I don't want to look like everybody else, so I'm not gonna support you. Or they were like, why you only got 2 colors? Oh, he only got 2 colors, and don't nobody want to support you when you don't have no variety, when you don't. And I'm hearing this from people who were like closest to me. Meanwhile, people I hadn't talked to in a while, people I hadn't really like bonded with, they were on my website and they bought a lot of stuff, or maybe they came back and purchased more stuff. And all I did was post, and these people saw it, and it was like, I'm gonna support you. They didn't complain about price. They didn't complain about colors. They didn't complain about looking the same as other people who would buy it. And I just was like, wow, it is true. When you run a business, like, you start seeing that the people who are close to you probably really weren't that close to you, and probably really didn't care about you as much as you thought they did. And it just was like a huge crushing moment for me, trying to build something that builds other people up, while finding out that the people that were supposed to be there to support me and be my foundation were just like completely gone, or trying to tear me down behind my back, or maybe even say it to my face very subtly, and hope I didn't pick it up or catch up on it. And so, it taught me a lot about running a business. It taught me a lot about life. It taught me a lot about looking at people and things that are closest to you and that's around you. And it gave me a very different perspective of, like, in the Bible, it talks about very often how you have to leave home in order to grow and progress. And it just really taught me that if I'm going to make this work, and again, I do want to clear before I say this, I want to clarify, I did not fail. I just simply, it was a lot going on, and I just like couldn't be the motivator at the moment. And I had to really take time for myself. And you know how they say, go within, I had to go within. And I had to clear out some of the bad people and bad stuff around me. And, I didn't fail. I just slowed down and lost the momentum, and I kind of gave up a little bit on it to just kind of reset myself. And I actually forgot what I was about to say, but it just was, it was a hard and tough time for me. And then I'll also say, I did try to like get everything started again. And I ended up moving back to my city, getting a great job, which I enjoy. I'm learning a lot. And then I reached back out to the people that did these original shirts, and I'm like, hey, these are, I have some hats. I just want to test out these hats. Can you do this rebrand concept on these hats? And they were like, okay, yeah. And I remember I'm an alumni of FAMU, and I remember we had a classic coming up, and I said, oh, this will be perfect to wear, to kind of get the brand back out there. I'll, wear this fit to go out there and have it. And I remember, and I wasn't crying. I don't want y'all to be like, hey guys, he was crying. No, I was just wiping my eye. I remember the vendor was like, yeah, we can get it done in X amount of days. We're going to have to do an upcharge. And I remember they were supposed to do it, and they just were not communicating to me the closer we got to the deadline. And I'm like, y'all, you did really good last time. Because there's certain, when you're doing a clothing brand and you take it somewhere, they let you know each step of the process, is this good, and then you approve it, and then they keep moving on. They say, is this good, and then they approve it, and you move on, and so on. And I was like, okay, y'all are not communicating with me at all. And I found it a little strange, so I'm calling, and then I had to go up there. And when I went up there, I had to leave work early, and I went up there, and I'm like, actually, no, it was a day we got off early, and I went up there because I was like, oh, I got the spare time now, and I'm like, okay, I haven't really seen anything, or the things that I've seen are off centered. They don't look good. And I just want y'all to stop everything. And it just was kind of like another hit to me, because I'm like, Most High, I'm trying to do these things, and it just feels like I'm just running into these blockages or these problems that's just making it, again, hard to be the motivator who motivates other people, because I'm like, I'm getting so unmotivated by this whole thing. But yet I'm so encouraged to do it and to see it grow, because I know it's great, because the people that have bought from me has told me it's great. They want to see more. They've given me ideas of things that they would like to purchase from me, because they like what I'm putting out there. So I'm like, I'm trying to do it, but it just seems like there's things hitting and there's problems happening. And again, it kind of slowed down my progress, but I kept going with what I wanted to do with the rebrand, which leads me to now of like saying, okay, by doing these videos, it's kind of like my progress checker for me. I don't know if anybody will ever watch these videos, but it's my progress checker, because one thing about social media is you have to post consistently, and the only way that I can post consistently is to make these videos, and the only way I keep making these videos is to keep doing what I need to do to show you what you can do as well. So yeah, I guess I'm forcing myself to motivate myself so I can be the motivator who motivates people, I guess. And so it's just been an interesting journey, and I can't say that owning a business or starting a business is the easiest route. I can't say that the people who are closest to you are going to support you, and that's not something to discourage you, but it's something to look forward to, because ultimately you want to sell to a lot of people. You want to make a lot of progress, and it forces you to wear your brand or to show your brand more often. It forces you to start saying, okay, well, even on social media, I need to reach out to more people than just the people that follow me already, or that I know from high school or college or family or whatever. I need to reach out to more people so I can expand and grow my brand. And even when I go out, if somebody asks me, what's that you have, I can say, this is my brand and this is what it's about. Or even if I want to find people to model or to show off my product or something like that, I have to reach out. And it helps you to like break out of your shell and start finding your community. What you're doing is, you can't look at it, especially for me, y'all are my family. So for me, I say, I'm just out there finding my family. I'm not out there finding customers. I'm out there finding my family, the people who support me and the people that I can support, and that's willing to be supported and that's willing to support me. It's an equal give and take. That's what I believe. It's not just like about like, I'm just trying to get this bread. I'm trying to be the next Warren Buffett. I'm trying to be the next Mansa Musa. It's not about that to me. It's about, putting out great quality products and making sure that I enjoy what I do, and that the overall concept is consistent in the fact that we are all family. We are all children of the Most High God, and we all have crowns on our head given to us by the Most High God, because we're divine royalty. You are divine royalty, and that's what I do. So I'm going to cut the video short here. Well, hopefully it's a short video. I don't know. I was just talking, but I realized that last video was way too long. So hopefully this is shorter. Hopefully this is a lot better. I thank you if you stayed this long during the video. And if I find something funny, I'll probably put it at the end as a blooper. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment down below. I don't know what you're going to comment, but nothing offensive. Okay. Don't do that. What else we need to say? We subscribe to the channel, do that, and press the notification bell down below so that way you are aware of when I upload new videos. And also go to princerichmond.com and get your Prince Richmond merch, because we are all family. And I want to go out somewhere and I want to be like, there go my family over there. Or either, I want you to tag me on social media, and not my personal page, but the Prince Richmond page, and say, I got my merch, family, and help me get to know you, because the more I get to know you, the better deals we can do. Okay, because I don't believe in my family having to, the economy is hard right now, and so I want to make sure that like we all have a fair way of living. All right, so I'm gonna end it here. Know that the Most High God loves you. Know that I love you. Take care, family. Yeah. It's your boy. Here. Yeah. All right. No, that's not what we're gonna do here. It's your boy, Big Sway. No, I'm just. Ew. Baby. I can't even get up. I can't even get up, Shirley.